Already is the word that matters. Not falling in love, the progressive, developing, still in process quality of something that is building toward a destination it has not yet reached. Already. The love that is present before it is acknowledged, before it is named, before the avoidant has done the internal work of recognizing what the specific quality of their investment in this particular person actually constitutes. Already in love, in the specific, interior, management not yet caught up to reality, sense of a feeling that has outrun the avoidant's capacity to contain it, without that outrunning, yet being visible in the direct, declarative, "this is what I feel" form that conventional love declarations take. The avoidant does not say, "I love you" first, or not often, not in the clean, unambiguous, entirely legible form that the phrase takes when spoken by someone whose attachment system does not experience the speaking of it as a significant act of exposure. The management intercepts the phrase before it can complete its journey from the interior, where the love has been present, specific, and increasingly undeniable, to the exterior, where the speaking of it would make it real in a way that the management cannot reverse or deny or manage back into a more comfortable ambiguity. But the love finds other words, specific, particular, characteristic words and phrases and sentences that the avoidant produces not through the deliberate decision to disclose, but through the specific, management-exceeding pressure of a feeling that has grown large enough to require some form of expression, even when the direct form remains inaccessible. These are the words and phrases that signal to anyone who has learned the avoidance language, rather than waiting for the conventional language, that the love is already there. When they say, "You'd probably think this is stupid, but..." The avoidant does not share the interior with people to whom they are not significantly attached. The management of what is disclosed, what is kept private, what version of the self is offered in any given interaction. This management is one of the avoidant's most consistently maintained functions. The interior, the genuine thoughts, the things that matter, the opinions that are actually held rather than the positions that are socially comfortable to present, is not generally available to people outside the circle of genuine attachment. The specific phrase, the disclaimer that precedes the genuine sharing, is the tell, not the sharing itself, though the sharing is significant. The disclaimer. The anticipatory apology for the thing about to be said that reveals, in the apologizing for it, that the thing is real, is genuinely held, is something the avoidant actually cares about in a way that makes the imagined rejection of it meaningful. People who are indifferent do not apologize for their opinions before sharing them. The apology is the investment speaking before the opinion does. The "you'd probably think this is stupid" is the avoidance management system attempting a last-moment protective measure against the vulnerability of the actual sharing. A disclaimer that would allow the retreat if the sharing is received poorly, while the interior, already committed to the sharing, completes it anyway. The completion is the love. The management tried to prevent the exposure. The love overrode the management. The sharing arrived with its protective disclaimer, but it arrived. When they reference something you said, weeks ago, casually, as though it were always going to be remembered. The holding of specific details, examined in previous pieces, is one of the clearest behavioral expressions of genuine interior investment. But the specific form this takes in the already in love context is worth examining precisely because of its casualness. The avoidant who is in love with you references something you said weeks or months ago, not with the performed attentiveness of someone who is demonstrating that they remembered. "Look at me, I remembered this, see how much I care." But with the specific, naturalized casualness of someone for whom the remembering required no effort, because the caring that produced the remembering is simply present. The reference arrives in the conversation as though it were obvious that it would be remembered, as though the detail were the kind of thing that of course has been retained, as though you would naturally expect to be recalled in this specific way. The casualness is the signal. Performative remembering announces itself. Genuine caring-produced remembering does not announce itself because the person doing the remembering did not experience the remembering as an achievement. The detail was held because you were held, And the holding is so naturalized, so settled into the avoidance interior as simply the way things are, that the reference to the held detail arrives without the framing that would indicate the avoidant is aware they are revealing something. They are not aware. The love has made the remembering automatic, and the automaticity is visible in the casualness of the reference in a way that deliberate attentiveness never quite achieves. When they disagree with you and stay in the conversation, the avoidant who is not in love with you manages disagreement through the path of least relational resistance. They adjust their position, they find the common ground, they discover, with remarkable consistency, that their view is not so different from yours after all, or they end the conversation through the various mechanisms of avoidant disengagement. The topic change, the deflection, the sudden need to attend to something else. The disagreement is managed into either resolution or avoidance, because sustaining a disagreement with someone who does not significantly matter requires an investment of relational energy that the management calculates is not justified. The avoidant who is already in love with you disagrees and stays, not aggressively, not in the conflict-seeking way of someone who wants to win, but in the specific, quietly invested way of someone who cares about the actual quality of the exchange, more than they care about the comfort of agreement, who wants to know what you actually think, wants to understand the position they disagree with, wants to engage with your mind in the specific, interested, fully attentive way that genuine disagreement between two people who respect each other's thinking requires. The staying in the disagreement is the love demonstrating itself through intellectual respect. The avoidant who is in love with you is not managing the interaction toward a comfortable resolution. They are genuinely in it, genuinely interested, genuinely invested in the quality of the exchange rather than in the management of the relational temperature. The engagement has the specific full presence quality of someone who is not performing engagement but experiencing it. And the experience, the genuine, unmanaged, fully present quality of genuine intellectual engagement with someone the avoidant is in love with, is one of the clearest windows available into the state of the interior. When they say, "I don't usually tell people this, but..." The interior hierarchy of disclosed information, examined in the bonding piece, is one of the avoidant's most carefully maintained structures. What is available to most people, what requires genuine trust, what is almost never shared, these categories are distinct and are managed with the specific, consistent attention of someone whose self-protection depends on maintaining the distinction between the presented self and the actual self. When the avoidant says, "I don't usually tell people this," in whatever phrasing takes this form in their specific communication style, they are not using a rhetorical device to heighten the significance of what follows. They are reporting a genuine fact about the information's status in their disclosure hierarchy. The information exists in the category of things that are not shared with most people, and they are about to share it with you. The significance is not in what follows, though what follows is almost certainly genuinely significant. The significance is in the category violation. The avoidant is about to offer you access to a level of their interior that their management system does not generally permit access to. Not because they have decided to trust you, the decision may not be conscious at all, because the love, which has been accumulating in the interior with the specific, management-exceeding weight of something that has grown larger than the management was designed to contain, has produced the opening that the decision alone would not have produced. I don't usually tell people this is the management acknowledging, even as the disclosure happens that the disclosure is happening. The system is aware that a category boundary is being crossed. It is not preventing the crossing. The love is overcoming the management's preference for containment, and the acknowledgement of the category crossing is the management's last available form of documentation, noting the violation even while it occurs. The noting is the love speaking, when they say nothing but stay. This is not a phrase, it is the absence of phrase, but it belongs in this piece because it is among the most significant communications the avoidant who is already in love produces, and among the most consistently misread. The staying, the specific quality of someone who has been in an interaction with you for longer than their ordinary management calibration would permit, past the point where previous interactions with previous people ended, into the territory of extended, unstructured, nowhere else to be presence in your company, not because there is an agenda, not because the staying is serving a function that justifies the resource allocation, simply because the staying is happening and the management, which would ordinarily have produced the departure by now, has not produced it. The silence in the extended staying is not empty. It is the comfortable silence of someone whose interior is not generating the pressure that the management was built to relieve through the production of distance. The presence of you is not activating the management at the level that would produce the departure. The presence of you is, and this is the thing that the staying communicates without any words, simply where the avoidant wants to be, the wanting to be with you, expressed through the staying that requires no explanation and produces no discomfort and extends past the management's ordinary timeline, because the management's ordinary timeline was calibrated before the love arrived, and the love has changed the calibration. This is the clearest thing the avoidant can say, without saying anything. They will not tell you they are in love with you, not at first, not in the direct, unambiguous, entirely legible form that the phrase takes when the management is not running interference between the feeling and its expression. But they will say these things, in the disclaimer before the genuine sharing, in the casual reference to what was always going to be remembered, in the staying in the disagreement, in the crossing of the disclosure threshold, in the silence of the extended staying. They are saying it in the only language the management currently permits the love to speak. Learn the language, not to decode strategy, to receive what is being offered, the love that is already there, already complete, already carrying you in the interior, in the specific, permanent, management-exceeding way of something that arrived before the avoidant knew it was coming and has not, despite everything, left.